Coming up on UMTV News, we bring you the latest on a Delta flight that went belly up in Toronto.
Plus, we will tell you how the winter storm across the country is affecting rescue efforts after deadly flooding in Kentucky.
And later on, we will take a closer look into the women's hockey team here at UM.
These stories and more ahead on UMTV News, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of UMTV News. I'm Allie Litzinger.
And I'm Quinn Davidson. Thank you for joining us. A terrifying scene at Toronto Pearson International Airport yesterday as a Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis crash-landed, flipped upside down, and burst into flames on the runway. Miraculously, all 80 passengers and crew on board survived. 21 people were taken to the hospital, but as of this morning, only 2 remain in medical care.
I think the absolute initial feeling is just need to get out of this. And so made sense of kind of where we were and being upside down, and took my seatbelt off, which I had obviously left fastened for the landing. And as I took it off, crashed down onto the ceiling, which had become the floor because we were upside down.
Video obtained by CNN shows the moment the plane's rear landing gear collapsed, sending the aircraft skidding on the runway. Authorities are investigating what went wrong in what is now the latest in a series of passenger plane crashes since December.
Yesterday was President's Day, and tens of thousands of people around the country marked it by protesting in what's been called the Not My President's Day rally. It's a nationwide movement against the Trump administration's new policies, including its crackdown on illegal immigration and its stance on the LGBTQ community.
I think the turnout is amazing. Orlando showed up, Central Florida showed up.
On this President's Day in downtown Orlando, hundreds of people protested the current commander-in-chief.
He is taking our country and turning it into something that is not who we are, increasing the hate. This is something that's worth fighting for.
Last term, I moaned. This term, I take action.
It was a diverse crowd of protesters standing up for communities they say are being targeted by the second Trump administration.
Whether it is immigrants who are coming to our country, just like we all did, for a better life, or whether it is the LGBTQ community who just want to live their lives with equality.
This demonstration is part of the nationwide 50501 movement, which stands for 50 states, 50 protests, 1 movement. It's gained momentum in response to the flurry of executive actions by President Trump since his return to the White House.
We have a lot of work to do as Democrats in order to never let someone like him come back in. We just better hope he doesn't get a 3rd term.
As these protesters speak out against Trump's 2nd term, a number of his policies are already facing legal challenges.
Courts already are starting to hopefully block and roll back some of the unconstitutional things that are happening.
While many signs mocked President Trump, others took aim at his. Similar protests were held in multiple cities across the country on President's Day. They were also organized by the 5051 movement, which stands for 50 protests, 50 states, 1 movement. The next event the organization is putting together is a day without no shopping on February 28th.
A breakthrough in hostage negotiations. Hamas has announced it will release the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages on Thursday, including the youngest captives. In a statement, the group also confirmed that 6 living hostages will be freed on Saturday, double the number previously expected. Israel's Prime Minister's office confirmed the agreement, which was reached during negotiations in Cairo. The latest development comes as efforts continue to secure the release of the remaining hostages still held in Gaza.
U.S. and Russian officials are in Saudi Arabia discussing ending the war in Ukraine, but Ukrainian representatives are not present. The Ukrainian president says he was not invited and his government knew nothing about these talks. Officials are calling the meeting exploratory. However, Russia is demanding the removal of Ukrainian President Zelensky from office. The Kremlin also wants Ukraine to cede more territory to Russia and not join NATO. U.S. officials have not said if any of Russia's demands are on the table.
The goal is, and we agreed on what the goal is to bring an end to this conflict in a way that's fair, enduring, sustainable, and acceptable to all parties involved. What that looks like Well, that's what the ongoing engagement is going to be all about.
Zelensky says Ukraine will not give in to Russia's ultimatums, which is why Ukrainians chose to fight 3 years ago. He also said he would not sign any agreement negotiated without Kyiv's involvement.
Flood-ravaged states face 2 new complications from more severe weather. Forecasters say a winter storm will strengthen in the plains today and sweep over the south tomorrow. Now, emergency responders are rushing to finish rescues before it snows. More than 30 million people are under cold alerts from Texas to Montana. Snowfall is also expected where 4 to 10 inches could be dumped in Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois, and 3 to 6 in Kentucky, still reeling from a weekend of deadly flooding. A state of emergency was declared with record rainfall, leading the Kentucky State Police to perform more than 1,000 rescues in less than 24 hours. First responders addressing the ongoing flooding are fearful for what is to come.
We're going to have our transportation cabinet officials and our county and city folks still working the flooding and the debris removal at the same time that they're trying to work the snow issue. So my hope is we get the lower side, which could be just a couple of inches, but if we get 6 inches, it's going to really complicate the cleanup.
Standing water still affecting large parts of the state. Emergency responders are racing to complete rescues and clear debris. As the winter storm approaches, the challenge of recovery grows even more difficult. And coming up, we will tell you how one group is fighting beach pollution in Miami.
Plus, we will meet some furry friends who are making noise in Hong Kong. All this and more when we return.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
The Miami Hurricanes baseball season is right around the corner, and the program is doing their best to get students excited. John Stanley is live at the University of Miami with more. John, what's going on with the Miami baseball team?
Quinn, the Miami Hurricanes baseball team sees plenty of its own balls fly through Mark-Light Field for home runs. But on Monday, it was not the players at the plate. I had the opportunity to visit Mark-Light Field and rub shoulders with players and coaches and see why it was the students, not the athletes, who were getting all the attention. On Monday, University of Miami students got to live in the Canes baseball players' cleats for an afternoon. The school held its annual Student Home Run Derby, giving everyday students the chance to step up to the plate and try to go deep.
I think it's important to allow the team, the players, and the student body to kind of interact a little bit. And in our office, right out here on the field, and they give them a chance to know what it feels like to swing a bat under the lights and stuff like that. So,
more than 30 students participated in the event in front of a crowd of their peers, Miami baseball players and coaches, and even school president Joe Echevarria, who is a big baseball fan.
The baseball program is legendary, not just in Miami, but in the country. So why not have a great time as a student? I think they should be involved in everything. It is part of student life, right? Not just, you got academics first and foremost, but going to athletic events is part of the student experience at a school like the University of Miami.
Students got to meet members of the baseball team as well, including head coach J.D. Arteaga, who appreciates the love that the team gets from the student body.
It's a fun 2.5, 3 hours, a little break from school and studying, and just come out here and have a good time and enjoy some good baseball and cheer the Canes on.
The Student Home Run Derby is open to anyone. Doesn't matter what major you are, what year. Doesn't matter if you've never played baseball before in your life. Anyone can go up and take some hacks. So I think I'm going to go try to test my luck. I can't say I'm proud of my performance in the batter's box, but the winner of the Derby, Aiden Minnick, took home some Canes merch and can't wait for the baseball season to start.
Obviously a huge fan. Milkshakes are amazing at the stadium. It's just a great environment. Love the stadium, great team, and hope we do well this year.
The Hurricanes had a dream start to their season, winning all their games against Niagara University. They'll look to continue their hot streak against FAU tonight at 6:30. Live for UMTV, I'm John Stanley.
Thank you, John. Pollution is an ongoing issue along South Florida's beaches, but one local group is working to keep the shoreline clean. This weekend, a community-led effort in Miami Beach focused on removing trash from the sand and water. Gloves on and buckets in hand, volunteers spent the morning at 72nd Street Beach in North Miami Beach, collecting plastic, bottles, and other debris littering the sand. The cleanup was organized by the Parkview Island Sustainable Association, a group formed after a major sewage spill in 2020 sent more than 1.6 million gallons of raw sewage into Biscayne Bay. Since then, they've led cleanups across the area, working to make an impact.
We work with everyone in the community, so if you give us a call or let us know that you'd like to do a cleanup, we'll come to your area and do a cleanup. But we like to focus on this area because this is where most of the pollution has been identified in Northeast.
Cleanups alone are not enough, but by raising awareness and working with city leaders, they hope to build a cleaner and more resilient Miami Beach.
South Florida is not exactly a hockey hotspot, but there's one team flying under the radar, and it might surprise you. Jordan Cerullo is live at the School of Communication to give us the details on the team and how they have made their mark on the ice. Jordan?
Allie, here at the University of Miami, there are many men's and women's sports teams, but hockey is not among the most popular. The women's ice hockey team has carved out a place for themselves on the ice and is proving that hockey belongs in South Florida. And they are just getting started. The University of Miami offers a diverse athletics program, showcasing teams in football, baseball, and basketball. However, there is one team that often goes unnoticed.
I had no idea there was a women's hockey team on campus.
No, I had no idea there was a women's hockey team. I wish I knew because I would go to all the games.
South Florida isn't typically known for hockey, making the idea of a women's team surprising to many. For years, the University of Miami women's ice hockey team was just an idea delayed by COVID.
I came in the following fall as a freshman, and I walked in the club sports office, kind of asking what happened, and they were like, oh, the club doesn't exist anymore because of COVID, so I said that I would pick it up.
Holland then brought flyers to Kendall Ice Arena, where the team now practices to recruit a coach.
I agreed to coach them after that, and it's honestly been one of the best things that I've ever decided to do.
He's not there to just pick at things we do wrong, he's genuinely trying to help us, and I think that's what makes everybody feel welcome here.
Crow has created a supportive environment, building a strong connection with the team, helping them feel comfortable learning from him. Although the women's team is primarily made up of girls who have played hockey their whole life, what makes this team so unique is their willingness to train those who have never skated before.
I've given, other girls all my equipment, all my sticks, just to get them to play.
For these girls, it's more than just a sport. It's a family. They've put their hearts and dedication into committing to one another and to Coach Crow.
Looking at, me then and me now, I've probably grown as a coach just as much as they've grown as players and as a team together.
The team will continue to grow together in the coming seasons as their bond and passion for hockey deepen. The women's ice hockey team aims to boost exposure through their social media, hoping to recruit more players, fans, and show just how much fun girls can have playing hockey. Make sure to follow their Instagram at Miami W Hockey and their TikTok at Miami Women's Hockey. Live for UMTV, I'm Jordan Cerullo.
Thank you, Jordan. Hong Kong's Ocean Park is preparing for a historic event, one that's bound to melt hearts and draw crowds. This Sunday, visitors will witness something truly special, the public debut of twin baby pandas. The first giant pandas born in Hong Kong, affectionately called elder sister and little brother, are capturing hearts with their playful antics and growing curiosity. Born in August to Ying Ying, the world's oldest first-time panda mom, the cubs have been receiving round-the-clock care, bottle-fed, burped, and nurtured like human babies. Oh my gosh, Allie, doesn't it sound like being spoiled? I would love to be burped and nurtured like a panda.
They're adorable. I want to be the ones taking care of the pandas.
Right? And is that legal? Can we adopt a panda?
We're going to have to check.
Is that maybe, yeah, because I think that'll be my first one.
We'll figure it out. And that's all we have for today's edition of UMTV News. Thank you for being with us.
Tune in again at the same time next week. Until then, stay safe.